Hi, good day. This will be our very first lesson video in statistics and probability. Today we'll just have the definition of terms as well as the basic concept. Okay, let's get into it. We'll start this lesson video by defining what statistics and probability are. Okay, statistics deals with the collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. So it is about gathering all the data that you need on a certain experiment or study about how things works. After gathering the data, of course, you need to analyze and interpret or make generalization. And there are some instances na kakailanganin ang concept ng probability. What is probability? It is a numerical measure of the likelihood of the occurrence of an event. So these are possibilities of an event to happen. Gaano kaposible na ang magiging resulta ng experiment ay ganito? Something like that. Gaano kaposible na magiging kayo? Also, it provides justifications or validations for statistics. Kumbaga, mas nagiging valid ang experiment with the help of probability. Okay, before we continue, I want you to pause the video and try to guess the word that is being implied by these pictures. Okay, it is sample. How about this one? You may pause the video and think of your answer. Okay, I hope you've taken a pause. It's population. So we have two terms, population and sample. What do you think is the difference between those two terms? You may pause the video and think of your answer. Okay, here it is. They are both sets of data. Population is the entire set from which the sample is drawn, while sample is just a portion of the population. Say, you will be conducting research study and your respondents are senior high school students of NCF. Magkakandak ka ng research study. And ang respondents mo ay senior high school students of NCF. Therefore, the population here is all senior high school students of NCF. So let us consider this as the population. And if you are already aware of this, ang mga researchers, hindi naman nila iniisa-isa yung nasa population kasi time-consuming. Especially if the population is quite big, just like this. Now, if the population is big, kukuha lang sila ng sample. Say, kumuha ka lang ng tig-iilan sa kada section ng senior high school students of NCF. Portion lang ng population. And that's what we call sampling. And it will be discussed in depth as we go through this course. This is not yet the focus of this lesson video. Ito lang muna, pinapakita ko lang sa inyo yung difference ng population and sample. I hope it's clear to you. Okay, next, let's have these rumbled letters. Try to fix this word. Okay, it's parameter. How about this one? It's statistic. It's not statistics because statistic is different from statistics. Okay, what do you think is the difference between these two terms? Pause the video. Okay, let's see if your idea is correct. Parameter is a numerical measure that describes the population of interest under study, while on the other hand, statistic is a numerical measure of the sample. Now, there is a difference when it comes to the symbols when you are dealing with population and sample. Some of the symbols under parameter are this. This is the population mean. Ang tawag dito sa symbol na ito ay mu. Hindi mu ha, iba yun. Next, we also have sigma. This symbol is for the population standard deviation. And we also have sigma squared. This is the symbol for the population variance. On the other hand, under statistic, we use X bar for the sample mean. Binabasa siyang X bar. We have S for the sample standard deviation. And we have S squared for the sample variance. Now there is an example under parameter here. The average height of grade 11 students enrolled at NCF. So kung yung data ay galing sa population o sa kabuuang bilang, ang tawag sa data na iyon, specifically in this case, since average, ang tawag dito ay parameter. On the other hand, look at this example under statistic. The average height of selected grade 11 students enrolled at NCF. Kung yung data, which is in this case, it's the average height. So pinag-uusapan natin yung sample mean. Kung yung data ay galing lang sa sample, tinatawag siyang statistic. I hope you're getting my point. Let's now have this. Let us define these terms. Okay, let's start with random experiment. What is a random experiment? It is an action or process that leads to one of several possible outcomes. For example, rolling a balance die. Siguro naman familiar kayo sa die. Or drawing a card or cards from a standard deck of cards. Familiar naman siguro kayo sa baraha. Okay, ito yung examples ng random experiment. Experiment na kung saan may mga possible outcomes. Pag nag-roll kayo ng die, there are possible outcomes. Pag nag-draw kayo ng card or cards from a standard deck of card, there are also possible outcomes. Next is the event. Event is any subset of the sample space consisting of one or more sample points to which a probability is assigned. Ang event ay kung ano ang focus ng experiment mo. If your random experiment is rolling a balanced die, and the focus of your experiment is the event of getting an even number. So, ang focus ng random experiment mo ay getting an even number. Next, we have the sample space. It is a list of all possible outcomes of an experiment. So when a balanced die is rolled, what are the possible outcomes? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sana na-visualize nyo yung balanced die. And it is important that you put all the possible outcomes inside the braces. These symbols are very important, the braces. Next, we have the sample point. It is an individual outcome of an experiment. So, iisa-isahin nyo lang yung nasa sample space. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kumbaga, inisa-isa mo lang yung nasa loob ng sample space. Take note that sample point does not use braces. Lastly, the cardinality of the sample. It is the total number of sample points. So you just have to count all the possible outcomes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Therefore, the cardinality of the sample is 6. So as simple as that. I forgot to include the probability of an event, denoted by P of E. And it is a ratio of N of E over N of S. So how do we get N of E over N of S? This is how we get N of E. You just have to consider the event and the sample space or the possible outcomes. The event of this random experiment is getting an even number. So look at the sample space. What are the even numbers here? We have 2, 4, 6. Ilan yan? We have 1, 2, 3. Therefore, n of e is 3 because there are only 3 even numbers out of these possible outcomes. So we can write now here 3 over n of s is the cardinality of the sample. So we have 6. Therefore, the probability of getting an even number when rolling a balanced die is 3 over 6. Okay, that's it. Let's have this example. Our random experiment is tossing a coin. So, a coin is tossed twice. Na-visualize nyo ba? Let's have the tree diagram. How are we going to make a tree diagram considering our random experiment, which is tossing a coin twice? Here it is. Draw first a circle. Then, for the first toss, there are 2 possible outcomes. It's either head or tail, right? This is for the first toss. Now, for the second toss, magkakaroon ng tigdalawa ulit na outcome. Yung kada isang outcome nung sa first. We have head, tail. And another one, head, tail. So this is now the tree diagram for this random experiment. So as simple as that. These are now the sample points. We have head, head. We have head, tail. We have tail, head. We have tail, tail. So when you toss a coin twice, pwedeng parehas head yung mag-appear. Pwede rin naman nauna yung head, pangalawang nag-appear ay tail. Pwede namang naunang nag-appear yung tail and sa second toss ay head. And lastly, pwedeng parehas tail yung nag-appear. So ito na yung sample points. How are we going to make the sample space? Simply copy each sample point and put it inside the braces. As simple as that. Now, what is the cardinality of the sample space or n of s? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the focus of this experiment? Getting exactly one head. Take a look at the sample points. Ilan sa sample points ang may exactly one head? There are 2, HT or TH. Therefore, this is now our N of E. Now, what is the probability of getting exactly one head? P of E is again equal to N of E over N of S. N of E is 2, N of S is 4. So that's it for example number 1. Let's have one more example. This time, our random experiment is answering a 3-item true or false question. So let us represent T as true and F as false. You may try this in your notebook or on your scratch paper. Okay, here's the tree diagram for this random experiment. So draw a circle. There are 3 items. First, second, and third. And for every item, there are only 2 possible answers. It's either true or false. So let's start. T, F. For the second question, we have T, F, T, F. And for the third question, TF, 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 and TF. What are now the sample points? We have true, 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 Next, we have true, true, false. The third one we have true, false, true. Fourth, true, false, false. Fifth, false, true, true. Sixth, false, true, false. Seventh, false, false, true. And lastly, we have false, false, false. So, sa 3 item na yan, pwedeng parehas true yung sagot, pwedeng ganito yung pattern ng answers, etc., etc. Or parehas false yung sagot. For the sample space, we just have to put all of these sample points inside the braces. So, we have true, 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 false, true, false, true, and we can just use the ellipses. Then, copy the last sample point. Okay, that's it. For the cardinality of sample space, we have how many sample points are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. N of S is 8. Next, our event is getting exactly 2 false. Ilan sa sample points ang may eksaktong 2 false? 1, 2, 3. So for N of E, we have 3. Okay, last one. The probability of getting exactly 2 false. N of E over N of S. So we have 3 over 8. That's it for example number 2. I hope it's clear to you. Let's have the last part of this lesson video, the classification of random variable. But before that, of course, what is a random variable? It is a variable whose possible values are determined by chance. Let us look at the variable number of heads out of 3 tosses. So when a coin is tossed 3 times, there are possible outcomes, right? And the value of the variable here varies among points in the sample space. It is considered random based on chance. Kasi pag nag-toss ka ng coin, hindi mo naman alam 100% kung ano yung mag-a-appear, kung head ba or tail. Kaya siya tinawag na random. Okay, let's have the classifications of random variable. The first one is the continuous random variable. It can assume an infinite number of values in an interval between 2 specific values. Example of this is the volume of a liquid. Sa continuous random variable, kino-consider yung mga nasa decimal places. Say for example, 3.01 ml, 9.22 ml, 6.71 ml. On the other hand, discrete random variable can only take a finite or countable number of distinct values. Ibig sabihin, wala ito sa discrete random variable. Okay, let's have this activity. Here, you just have to determine if the given is an example of a continuous or discrete random variable. So number 1, the height of a human. It's a continuous random variable. Number 2, number of defective bolts in a sample of 10 bolts drawn from the production. It's a discrete random variable. Number 3, number of people in the waiting line in the doctor's clinic. It's a discrete random variable. Number 4, number of automobile accidents per year in Manila. Discrete. Amount of sugar in an apple. Continuous. Height of water in a dam. It's continuous. Okay, you may try this in your notebook. I'll leave this last 5 items to you. Okay, that's it for this lesson video. I hope you learned something. Thank you for listening.